Now, on to our next session, we have Dr. Ken Dooley pondering, have you missed the boat? Looking at rapid deployment of an employee experiences smart building solution. Dr. Ken is Chief Strategy Officer for Empathic Building at Haltian. He is a postdoctoral researcher in smart buildings at Aalto University and holds almost 20 years' experience in the built environment, having worked in London, Sydney, Dublin, and Helsinki. In this session, Ken will share more details on the empathic building solution, which combines a simple digital twin with real-time data from IoT, guaranteeing superb end-user experiences while also delivering the key data for operational excellence. Do note there will be a Q&A, so please do send your questions across. And without much ado, over to you, Dr. Ken.
Super, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of almost a disruptive approach to the presentation today, and really just try and simplify the kind of first steps on the ladder of employee experience. I think there's been in these events, and again, I'm a researcher in smart buildings technology, so I'm really involved in the deep kind of elements of technology, but I also feel that it can be alienating at some stage. So I guess some of the feedback we've had lately has been, WORKTECH, yes, please, but kind of where do we start? So the kind of approach for today's talk actually is, what about those companies who really, have thought about installing a kind of employee experience system a couple of years ago, never got around to it, never really found the solution that really worked for them, or actually in some cases, installed a solution that was underwhelming and then kind of stopped there. So one of the things I want to kind of show today really quickly is some of the approaches that actually are really easy to start off in, that don't require huge investment, and then have a kind of iterative approach where you can add technology after that. So I'll kind of give this really kind of simple version of our technology today, and there's all kinds of hardware and extra connections in the future. But I guess we've had some 10,000 plus organizations come to us recently with kind of 10,000 employees. One company kind of saying, okay, we missed the boat a little bit. How do we really rapidly get this in all our offices really quickly? And I think from our point of view, a really software dominant or even software only approach can really kind of deliver a huge amount of the employee experience elements. So to kind of give a feeling of what empathic building is, so we build these kind of digital maps, or these kind of 3D digital twins. They're, as a researcher, I've done a lot of work on digital twins, but these are really simple, really light things. We can even build them from a PDF drawing, and they're kind of relatively inexpensive to create and to maintain over time. And just like Krupa said, we have this element where our real kind of mission statement is to guarantee superb end user experience. And while doing that, a lot of the key data arrives at your fingertips. But we have this kind of employee first approach. And then I guess what the core elements of today's talk then is really, if you do have, a digital map and or digital twin, like we have here in some of our customer cases on the right, and then you connect that digital twin to something like Microsoft Exchange, so you have all the room booking data in it, and then after that you use the kind of user interface or our digital twin, so people can kind of with the web app. So we have a web app which is on a touch screen or a phone or a laptop. So it's a link. It's a very, very light, easy to use solution, and in that solution you can use it to book rooms or book desks. And then people can, and I'll show in a moment, kind of manually share location, and there's kind of wayfinding in there. We're originally an IoT company, so we really understand the value of having a desk sensor on every desk, and having all kinds of extra kind of technology around the building. But there is a way to do this to really rapidly roll it out. So you just build some digital twins of your offices, where you kind of really show the basic elements, and then without having to have sensors or really complicated elements, you can just have the user interface kind of book desks, which I'll show in a moment. And it is this really kind of easy to roll out across your workplace really quickly. You don't have to worry about the capital cost or the installation or the delay in delivery of sensors or any of these kind of things. You can really do a quick approach. And I'll show some of the benefits of that relatively quick approach today. And I guess what we're hearing from customers is people saying they really want something for when people go back to work. We heard Labor Day yesterday, so early September in the US. They want something that they can, guarantee that the space is safe, that everyone gets a desk, but also something that kind of measures what's happening. So I guess the other approach that we've seen in the last kind of 2 days as well has been, desk sensors or real-time positioning, which are kind of sensors and technologies we have in our solution, but I think we can leave them out in the very beginning. We have, indoor conditions like temperature or CO2, room booking panels or corridor touch screens, or these kind of VR, AR, XR elements we saw yesterday in smart lockers and, doors that open as the app comes. I think they're really important things. They're things I'm really comfortable with in my university background in smart buildings. But if someone is saying, okay, we have all these global offices and we really want somewhere to kind of step on the ladder of employee experience, there is a way to kind of add them later. So then some of the elements that we have in empathic building, this is a kind of really quick overview of what we have, the kind of 2D, 3D user interface. It shows the kind of different zones in the space and the rooms and the desks. And then you can click the desks or the rooms. I'll show a better kind of desk example later. And here are the kind of color codes of what the different elements are. And then in general, you click a desk or click a meeting room to book it. And then you can kind of share your location as well. The booking link takes a little moment to kind of open here, but you kind of click through the user interface and it's all integrated with Google or Microsoft Exchange, and you can kind of share your location. And in a desk booking scenario, where you ask people to book desks and you have a kind of a real, if you do have less desks than people, one of the customers kind of cases that we're really supporting with desk booking is what happens if everyone turns up on the same day. So some of the surveys are saying people don't want to come in on Monday, don't want to come in on Friday. So they'll kind of come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, although Wednesday historically hasn't been a busy day. And then there's an element of, okay, book a desk, don't turn up in the office until you have a desk booked in advance. And then this is this really easy to roll out solution without having to have desk sensors and gateways and the kind of installation of these. And actually, our sensors and gateways are kind of really easy to install. They're battery powered, and the gateways are kind of hardwired. But even though they're really easy to install, there is the balancing of capital expenditure, of getting them shipped, of getting them installed, and you can jump on the ladder of employee experience without having to worry about the hardware on day one, on month one. So then other elements around this, I guess, is, I don't want to go in too much about hybrid in detail. There's been so many really good contributions on that in the last 2 days. But I guess the main thing that I really kind of connect with is the element of collaboration in the workplace and the importance of it in any industry that's kind of undergoing disruption or kind of rapid technological change. I was an innovation director in my last role, so I really kind of believe this idea of innovation sparks of really good ideas coming from bumping into someone at a coffee machine or in a car park or in a restaurant around the corner from work and saying things like, hey, that project we talked about 2 years ago, it's finally going to happen. These little moments that are so important, and actually really important as well with, high-level people in organizations who don't answer their phone and don't answer their email, and you don't want to call them and email them anyway because they're too busy. They're the people that you grab in the corner and say, hey, we have this event coming. We really need someone from your team. Who can I contact? So the workplace is really, really important for having this element of collaboration, for having this bonding and kind of having this social aspect. And I think without going too deep into it, everyone has their own reasons for just not being able to work at home full time. So from a workplace point of view, we really want to kind of create this wonderful kind of employee experience. And I think when I talk about employee experience, I have these little basic elements that always kind of connect. It's saving the employee time, be that finding a room, finding a desk, in Finland, we have kind of lunch restaurants in the campuses, and we really want to know, how long is the queue in that restaurant. It's to do with choice as well. We have some customers. We have one cool skyscraper customer in Germany that have a huge array of different furniture types and room types. But you really need a digital map or a digital twin over the 3 or 4 floors to see, okay, the egg chair I love to have my weekly phone call with this customer is free upstairs. I'll take that. Or a concentration room or a collaboration room with a sofa. So I think, we heard today as well that really good case or statement about twice the experience in half of the space. An element of that experience is lots of different choice of spaces, lots of different choice of rooms, but then we need to be able to really see at a glance where those spaces are to suit the mood we're in, rather than kind of doing laps of the building. Are they available? Are they free? Can I book them? Or are they a ad hoc space that I walk into? And solutions as well, we as originally came from a software developer company and game designers. So we're not a kind of real estate or IoT company originally from the software. So there's a real element on the software being super easy to use. And that's something we're really proud of. And then I think as well, this kind of employee experiences, these solutions, they need to help you, feel safer, live a more sustainable lifestyle, help you to be healthier, these kind of things. And we heard, I think it was John Lewis today, talk about, workplaces are relatively inexpensive. They might be 7 to 10% of the costs. So this is something we really believe in as well. You have your employee-facing technology. Use this to kind of really save people time, to really improve their experience, and use that then to collect data. Collecting data without adding value to the employees kind of doesn't make sense when the costs really are stacked on the employee side. And then I'll show in a moment, from our point of view, the things you can do with just software. You can book the desks. Also leveraging Microsoft Teams. We've had some customers ask us about, we want to book workspaces. So we want to book 10 desks in a row, 15 desks in a row. We want to call it a workspace or a work area or a zone. Actually, you can do that in something Microsoft just launched in Teams. You can book a workspace. So use these kind of things. And anything Teams can do, because we're using Microsoft Exchange for most of our customers, kind of we can do as well. It's not something we have to add. Another thing in Teams is Microsoft Shifts. You can actually use Shifts. It's an app in Teams to say, I'm working from home. I'm in the office. I'm concentrating tomorrow morning. I'm actually in a total support mode tomorrow morning. I'm going to be writing emails. Come contact me if you need some support. I'll block book 4 hours tomorrow morning. That's the day when you kind of come and contact me. So you can kind of set your working mode in Teams, and we have a link to that in the avatars that we have for our employees. And again, it's this kind of really light solution that you can kind of really get a lot done with. And as well, we have these kind of avatars, which I'll show in our software as well. And you can kind of have your working status in here. And we've actually had some customers who want where you click my face, you see what kind of status I'm in maybe, and then there's a straight click to Microsoft Teams to chat to me there, or to actually even call me directly. So it becomes the kind of place, the interface between people. It kind of becomes a visual intranet as well. And then in these kind of things as well, we also have virtual only spaces. You can have a balcony that's just a coffee area. You can have a rooftop that's a kind of chill out area. And if you see people working, or I can search my boss and I can click his face and it takes me where he is. And if he's in a meeting, or he's on a coffee balcony or somewhere like that, I actually immediately know what status he's in, and I know whether to bother him or let's say not to bother him. So there's these spaces that you can add to the sides of buildings. You can add an extra floor, you can add an extra half a floor if you want. And then our avatars can be there depicting our mode or depicting that we're working from home. And then other kind of communication elements, like we can remove desks virtually. So we can actually click a desk and say, this desk is booked forever until we change the status. And then it kind of tells people in low occupancy elements and low occupancy times, spread around a little bit. There's spaces for 3 people to work here, for 2 people to work here. But, we can communicate kind of really easily this way through the app. And then there's elements around kind of clean surfaces with the desk booking, with the sensors. If we use them, we can indicate to the cleaners what's been used and to pay more attention to those spaces. And then through the booking data, all kinds of reports come around desk utilization or room utilization. that's in the solution. And all kinds of environmental data can come out of that as well if there's sensors. And then through this kind of nice user interface as well, through this kind of visual, easy to use kind of digital twin, we then can kind of give feedback. Someone here has, this light bulb is gone. Someone here has, they really dislike a lobby area. So there's a kind of a feedback in terms of service tickets that can be made for different categories, and you click the category, or you can just give kind of happy or not kind of feedback as well. So in general, that's the overview from our side. I'm going to really quickly show you just our solution, one or two other things. So we have things then, the desk booking. The best way to show it then is that these are kind of desk booking spaces. Someone has reserved this desk, and I can see it's my colleague Pramod. And then if I want to reserve a desk, I can kind of reserve it for now. It opens up a booking user interface. I can kind of reserve it at this moment. And then the element is that it's reserved for me, and I select the different times here. It's quite late here in Finland. It's 8:30 at night. And then it's kind of really searching for your colleagues. You can kind of search in desk for different people. I can see Pramod is there. In a moment, it'll register that I've just booked the desk. And it's kind of a really simple, let's say, software-only way to have and to kind of interact with the kind of office, with the floor plan. And I think this is one thing that's kind of really interesting from our customers is, where do we start? And this again is a virtual only space that we have in our building. This is a whole atrium in real life. We've added a little floor here, and we have a coffee area, which actually takes you directly to a Microsoft Teams meeting, a permanent Microsoft Teams meeting, so that anyone who sees me in here can actually see me or my colleagues are having a break. And then not only can they kind of contact us to say hello to us, but actually you join the same Teams meeting. So we have this kind of virtual coffee machine that we call it. And there's a real important element around overhearing those conversations. And actually this kind of a lot of unstructured learning happens in this kind of setting. But that's the presentation from our side. I hope that gave a little bit of a different perspective of, there's lots of cool technologies out there. I think they're great as well, but there are some people struggling with really how to jump on the kind of employee experience smart building train. And I hope that gives you some faith that you can start in a really efficient, straightforward way without having to spend a huge amount on technology straight up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Ken. A really nice overview and insight into the seamless technology and the fact that it doesn't need to be intensively complicated. So thanks so much. I do have two questions in. So if you I know it's quite late in the day where you are, but I will let you go soon. I have one question which says, what do you feel is the most important tool to orchestrate employee collaboration in hybrid or distributed teams?
Yeah, so we really find it's sharing your location in the most simple and seamless way. So we have some customers with Bluetooth tags, so they're always shown. You can put it in manually. You can share your location. I've just booked this desk, so you can find me. The important thing is to balance the privacy requirements. So sharing locations in a really simple way is the best way to do it. In the pre-COVID, I used to bring my laptop to the coffee area and just sit there. It indicated, hey, come talk to me. So now we have these other tools we can use, and the GDPR or data privacy is that it's always opt out as a setting, and then you choose to opt in. So the people that really want to be social, the people that want to be in support mode, I want to be there for my team, so I'll always share my location. Other people with different functions who don't need to be so interactive don't need to be. So it's an opt-in, share your location, and there's different technologies, but it essentially is the most simple way to share your location is people will do it most often. So you can do it with tags where you share your location, or you can just book a desk for the day. And if you allow your location to be found, people can see what desk you've booked for the day. And it really is just finding people. And I think the other thing then is just having a kick-ass employee experience so people want to come to the office. Could be restaurants, it could be location, it could be anything, but getting people away from their home or away from their kind of third place, as every extra day is a benefit from a collaboration perspective. because I don't think the real perfect offsite collaboration tools are going to come for a couple of years still. So I think it is sharing location and getting people into the office or the workplace, whatever that is.
And I'm really glad you navigated that privacy question there, because it's always one of my big question marks when we're thinking about smart building technology and things that traditionally can be seen as quite invasive. I think we do have another question about online fatigue, but I think you answered it, which was coming to the office and everyone collaborate together.
Yeah, I left one thing about the privacy. There's two elements. One is it's always opt out and you choose to opt in. The second one is about historic data collection. So if you come to our workplace on Saturday, and I want to go, okay, do people come into the office on Saturday? The data is collected at a really abstract level. So I can't know you were there. I can't even know someone from your team was there, if unless it's a massive team. It probably is normally collected at a department level. Someone from that 50+ department was in this building yesterday. So it's about real-time location is always opt out and you opt in, and historical data collection is at a really distant from you. And they're the two secrets to make it really simple. And if you follow them, then you're always safe. And we always follow them.
Perfect. Well, on that note, we'll let you get away because I know it's so late over there. So thank you for joining us and sticking with us today. Take care.
Folks.